This is the 2026 GMC Acadia Denali. What do you get for a sticker price of $59,545? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. I'm going to show you exactly what you get for that sticker price in today's video. If you want to know more, if you want to come in and buy this Acadia, check out the link down in the description of the video. When we look at the front end, you will find full LED lighting. Although you do have the projector beam LED headlights, you will also find the LED turn signal indicators, LED daytime running lights, and I don't have them on right now, but also the LED fog lights down there on the lower portion of the front end. We'll find our front view camera right here and the GMC logo. Now you will find some gloss black on the lower portion of the front end, on the bumper down there. A little bit of chrome. We have a few different finishes as far as this model goes. It is front wheel drive in this case, but if you want all wheel drive, that is available. 20-inch wheels on this particular model. You will have an 18-inch spare. We're going to have the power adjustable side view mirrors with turn signal indicators built in. Summit white for your mirror caps. That's the exterior color. Heated power adjustable, and you'll find blind spot monitoring is built in right there. And one more thing on these side view mirrors, when we push this button right here, you'll see they are also going to be power folding. And there is a feature within the infotainment screen, within your center screen, that allows you to turn it on. And every time you lock the vehicle, those mirrors fold in. When you unlock it, they unfold. We'll find passive entry. That's the button right here on the front door handles and the rear door handles. I always like that. If you're going to have it on the front, you might as well have it on the rear. We'll have our roof rails up top. You can buy the crossbars if your cargo space in the rear is just not quite enough. And we'll find LED taillights to finish things off here. There's your Denali logo, so everybody knows what trim level of Acadia you are driving. We'll find the quad tip exhaust to finish things off. Under the hood is the 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. And while a lot of people say, give me back that 6-cylinder, I can't say I disagree with you on that particular subject. It does make plenty of power, 328 horsepower, 326 pounds-feet of torque, and is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. How about your MPGs? Let's take a look at the window sticker and see what the potentials are. 20 city, 26 highway, 22 combined, and 4.5 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. If you're curious to know, the gas tank size comes in at a generous 19.4 gallons. Just as was the case with the MPGs, these numbers are estimated, but you can drive about 388 miles in the city on a full tank of gas, and that number jumps to 523 miles out on the highway. You will find a max towing capacity of 5,000 pounds, and with the power tailgate, I'm not doing anything. You just see the flashing lights and the beeping going on there. You can hear the beeping. That's the power tailgate. That's the way it works as of 2025 with these Acadias. And underneath the floor right here is where you're going to find your spare tire. You have a diagram right here that will give you the instructions on how to gain access to that tire and the tools needed to change it. Depending on how you configure things, you're looking at 23 cubic feet to 57.3 to 97.5. So that's going to depend on whether you have all of the seat backs in their upright position, or if we go ahead and lower these rear seats, which you can do with the button right there, and then we can push the buttons here to lower the second row seats, the middle seats. The difference between the two is that you have a button right here that will allow you to raise the rear seats back up. You will have to put the middle row seats back up manually. Not a big deal as far as that's concerned. And besides some tie downs back here in the rear cargo area, you'll also find a 12-volt power outlet. The interior color is called After Dark, and you'll see the stitching pattern that we have right here. We have a little bit of a brushed aluminum finish and plenty of room with the armrest and the door bins. We'll also see that same pattern on the seat backs. In fact, you'll see that on all of the seats. To gain access to the third row, we push the button right here. That will get the seat up and out of the way, and we can hop right on in, which is very easy to do. There is a, well, reasonable amount of leg space back here. The seats can be moved back and forth. In fact, let me slide over onto the passenger side here, and there's even more space than what we already saw on that side. You can stick your leg out and take advantage of the pass-through. There is the view with the panoramic sunroof. The front portion will tilt and slide open, and there is a power shade that can be drawn back and forth if you don't want all of that light coming in. Air conditioning vents will be built into the roof area, and we'll find a USB port right here, cup holder, and a little bit of storage behind that. And you're going to have the same thing over there on the passenger side. Sorry about the sun right there, or excuse me, on the driver's side. But if you're curious about getting back out, let's say maybe somebody jumps out of the second row and forgets about the third row passengers. Well, we push the button right there, and then you can push the seat back up and out of the way, and it makes it very easy to get out, or you could just go through the pass-through. And there is the shade I was telling you about earlier in the video. We'll find again the roof-mounted air conditioning vents right here in this area. Depending on where the middle row seats are located, well, they can be close enough to do really well, or maybe a little further away, just depends. Cup holders on the rear of the center console. We will find the third zone of climate control with everything for controlling fan speed and temperature. And then we'll come right down here and you'll find that you have USB connectivity and a power outlet. And these captain's chairs in the middle row do have the armrests built in. I always like to say I wish they were a little bit longer, at least for my arms. For some people, maybe that's no big deal. Or you could just put your elbow down there like that, and then it's not as much of an issue. But tell me what you think. Should these be a little bit longer? Maybe come up to about this point right here and give a little bit of extra length. For that person in your life who wants the larger door bin and armrest, the front doors will offer that. Plenty of space here in both areas. Seats are going to be power adjustable for the driver and the passenger, and both have lumbar support. And you have the pass-through right there that allows for a little bit of additional storage space, actually quite a bit. And there's going to be a 12-volt power outlet down in that area as well. Here is the glove box, and the space within that area is, well, somewhat plentiful. Here in the front seat area, you will find the digital rear view mirror, but you can change that to a conventional mirror if you want to. There are several adjustments that can be made. You push the button right here. Depending on what you want to adjust, we can adjust whether we zoom in or not. You can also adjust the height, as you can see right there. And like I say, you just push the button on the left right there and use these two buttons to adjust everything. We'll find a sunglass holder, something that's nice to have. It seems like fewer and fewer vehicles are offering that in this day and age. Everything to manage your sunroof is here. Now, one thing I'm going to show you in just a little bit, you might notice that HomeLink isn't anywhere to be seen. There is a big change where that's concerned as of the 2025 model year that carries over here to 2026. There is your head-up display, and that is nice and bright and adjustable. Now, we only have seat memory on the driver's side at almost $60,000. I think that should also be on the passenger side. What are your thoughts where that's concerned? You have all your controls for your windows, door locks here, and everything for your mirrors. There's your power parking brake. You can turn the auto stop start feature off or back on depending on your personal preference. And your drive mode selector is right here. So depending on what drive mode you need to be in, you have normal. We'll also have sport, and then snow and ice, and your tow haul mode. Steering wheel mounted controls, you've got your voice commands right there, everything for the radio, heated steering wheel right here. And if you want to change what you have on the driver's display, you can do that via the button right down here, and you can see what I'm doing to go through all of that. Obviously, you have your built-in navigation and quite a few other features to choose from, or screens to choose from, I should say. We have our shifter paddles on the back of the steering wheel. Volume is down here, right here, if you want to control that from the steering wheel. And over here on the left-hand side, you can control what you're listening to, or what everybody's listening to right there. Adaptive cruise control is here. And everything for managing your front and rear window wipers will be here, and your turn signal indicators. That particular option was spec'd into this Acadia, in case you were curious. I know some of you don't spec turn signal indicators or blinkers into the vehicles you buy. And the shifter right there. Pretty easy to figure out what's going on where that is concerned. Let's talk about the 15-inch screen. There is a lot to talk about here. We're not going to do a deep dive into that, but we'll talk about it a little here and just show you some of what you have. you can see some of the features. Google Assistant, so you can say, hey, you probably thought I was about to set off devices in your house, didn't you? Well, I'm not going to do that, but you get how that works. If you want to use that, all kinds of questions you can ask. You can set up navigation with that particular feature. And then you have the Play Store. How about your cameras? Multiple views. You have the overhead 360-degree view, depending on what you need to see. You have your front view and rear view cameras. We'll also have the overhead view. There are two different views for most of these. As you can see, you just select whatever view you want. There is your trailer hitch or bumper view right there. Pretty easy to deal with. Ambient lighting. Believe it or not, you do have ambient lighting here in the interior. On the Denali trim level, it's in the front and the back seat area, or should I say the front and second rows. But that's what you have. All of the different colors you can choose from. You can change the brightness. All of that is going to be here. Now, let's go down here. I want to show you something. We're going to select right there. And here is where you adjust your head-up display. That is in the screen, as are a lot of features. I'm going to show you some of those things that are here. Your dome light, power window lockout, cameras, all of that's going to be here. You can see some of the features. Fog lights, you can turn that on and off. One thing to note, the vehicle does need to be running to turn the fog lights on and off. And you do have a few other settings right here, depending on what you need to do, including right over here, universal remote. This is where you program that and where you use that functionality. I would love to know what you think. What is your feedback where that's concerned? Should we still have physical buttons? We don't in this case. Seems that's the direction GMC is going, although it does allow you to add up to 8 remotes. I don't know how many people are actually going to need 8 remotes, but that's what we have available. And with the settings screen, we have quite a few different things you can go through depending on what you need to do. We're going to go into vehicle and look at a couple of things. Audio settings, teen driver, rear seat reminder, buckle to drive. You can turn that on or off. I do recommend you use your seat belt when you drive. Climate and air quality, speed assist. Here's one that a lot of people like to know about, your collision detection systems, or what I like to call the driving aids. You have your alert type, forward collision avoidance, front pedestrian braking, intersection collision braking, side bicyclist alert, lane change alert, park assist with braking, park assist tow bar, rear cross traffic alert, and rear pedestrian alert, or should I say rear cross traffic braking. You can go in and make adjustments to a lot of these. Some of them you can go from the alert and brake. You'll have the safety alert seat here that will let you know what's going on and where. You can go to alert only, or you can turn that off if you'd like to. It just depends on what your personal preferences are. But you can see there's a lot in the center screen as far as your adjustments go. You can also come here to deal with your lights. I would just leave everything on auto, and then you don't have to worry about it. You can turn them off, whatever, turn them on right there and off right there. So it just depends on what your preference is. And to listen to music, we're going to go to audio right here. Here's where you're going to choose what you're listening to. And then depending on what you choose, I'm going to go ahead and choose AM right there. Then you can come here and go through whatever you need to as far as what you're listening to, surfing through the stations, all that kind of stuff is going to be there. I've had a few people ask about that. Now you know where that is. We do have the heated and ventilated seats for the driver and the passenger. Not everything is in the screen, thankfully. You still control the air conditioning down here via these controls. That's very nice. And you have your wireless charging pad right there. Depending on what you need to do with that, you can leave it concealed away if you want to. Be very patient as the lid comes forward, or the cover, and then we can get that out of the way. There are cup holders and plenty of room within the center console. No, that is not all the room that you have right there. You can see what you have as far as that goes when you take this little tray out that does add some additional storage. And I don't know how well you can see it, but here are your USB ports, if you weren't able to see that earlier in the video. And here is the remote. I forgot to tell you about that earlier in the video, but it has lock, unlock, remote start. You have your panic button, and you can open and close the power tailgate from the remote, obviously from the tailgate itself, and from the center screen, where you can also adjust the height. All right, here we go on our test drive with the Acadia. A very comfortable ride quality, that's for sure. Plenty of adjustability between the driver's seat and the steering wheel, which I did not mention earlier in the video. The fact that the steering wheel is power adjustable, it's tilt and telescopically adjustable, so you can adjust how far it comes in and out, and where it is this way. So overall, you're going to be able to adjust everything just as you would like from the driver's seat or for the driver's seat and be comfortable, no problems whatsoever. The seat itself seems to be comfortable. I'm only spending a little bit of time here, so it's hard to say long term, but I feel like that would not be a problem. So if you're on a multi-hour road trip, you shouldn't have any trouble at all being nice and comfortable, not being worn out by an uncomfortable seat or ride quality, and a nice tight turning radius. Now, for those of you that live in a climate where you deal with a lot of snow and ice and low traction situations, well, obviously front-wheel drive may not be the best thing. You can go with all-wheel drive if you'd like to. You saw that you have a snow and ice mode, so there are a few different options to help you out where all of that is concerned. And we're gonna go around here, make our turn, and get down the road. Now, I'm just in the base driving mode, but still having no trouble getting down the road. Now, one thing you might have noticed, I haven't said anything about it yet, you'll notice that the camera is up on the screen. You can actually have any camera on the screen while you're driving if you want to. A lot of people have asked about that in the past, so that's why I bring that up. I am curious to know, for those of you that would like to have the cameras on while you're driving, such as in a situation like this, why do you want them on? I'm curious to know. I don't necessarily see any need for that, but somebody might be able to point something out that makes me say, okay, I can understand now. But one of the things that I know a lot of people have asked about over the course of the last few years in different videos I have done on different vehicles that have multiple camera views. Something else that's very nice here is the fact that the technology is very easy to learn and use. So for those of you that maybe this is new to you, don't worry about it. It's not difficult. And one thing that makes it even easier is there are tutorials all over YouTube, right where you are right now watching this video, including some on my own channel, that will help you to learn whatever it is you need to learn. You can always go back and watch multiple times if you need to, whatever it is that helps to make that as easy as possible. Overall, a very enjoyable vehicle to drive. Plenty of room in the first and second rows. Well, we'll say reasonable amount of room in the third row. I know as an adult, I would want to sit here in the front seat or in the second row, but if I didn't have a choice, the third row would do the job. And there it is, the 2026 GMC Acadia Denali. And that, at least as far as the main points go, is what you get for a sticker price of $59,545. Tell me what you think down in the comments section, and tell me if this is something you plan to buy for the 2026 model year. I'd like to say a special thanks to my friends at Mike Morgan Buick GMC for loaning me this Acadia for the day so I could tell you all about it. And a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That's very helpful to me. Please be sure to subscribe and share this video on your timelines on social media. If you'd like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.